Hi, Ryan here from A&B. Today we're going to take a closer look at Polygon's Collosus N8E. The N8E is Polygon's latest iteration of long travel e-bike. It is spec'd with a Shimano EP801 motor. It's spec'd with full XT group set and Fox suspension. Has 160 mils front and rear and is sporting 29-inch wheels. The Polygon Collosus N8E is available in one model. The model you see here is our size large and is $7,999. It's available direct to consumer only through Bikes Online. Taking a look at the N8E's battery and motor, as we mentioned, it's a Shimano setup. It has a EP801 motor, which is the newest version of the EP8 motor. It is a little bit quieter and it also has reduced sort of clacking noise when coasting. The display itself is now slightly different than before. It actually has 10 increments of battery shown instead of 5, which mightn't sound like that much of a difference, but it's really handy when you're getting down to those last few bars and wondering how much juice you've got left in the 630 watt-hour battery. It can also be set up with 7 different modes of assistance instead of 3, which means you can really fine-tune the assistance on those climbs and also conserve a little bit of battery life as well. I really like the new 801 motor. As its predecessor had, it's super torquey. It's got 85 Newton meters of torque. And the peak power is fantastic in boost. Let's take a look at the Collosus N8E's geometry and features. The head angle is 64.5 degrees, which is a little bit steeper than some of the other e-bikes that we've been reviewing lately, which makes it steer really nicely, and on the longer climbs or techie climbs, it doesn't flip-flop from side to side and maintains a lot of front wheel traction. It has a 77-degree seat tube angle. The rear center or chainstay length is 435 mils and is really tucked up under the back of the bike. And thanks to that and the 490 mil reach, it feels long but maneuverable, which is quite pleasant. The head tube on this size large that we're reviewing today is only 110 mils in length and makes the front end quite low to the ground. While that is fantastic for steering and climbing, it does make descending, weight shift is a little bit further forward and it does feel a little twitchier than some others that we have reviewed. It does mean that this bike is really well balanced and likes to climb and descend and doesn't really bias towards either or. Taking a look at the rest of the components, the bike is spec'd with Shimano XT 4-pot brakes. Polygon have also gone to the trouble of speccing these brakes with metal sintered pads and 203mm rotors. It does weigh in at 26.2 kilograms, but it doesn't actually feel that heavy on the trail. It does sort of retain a playful nature to its riding. Polygon has spec'd a Fox Performance Elite X2 rear shock, which has high and low speed rebound and high and low speed compression damping. It also has a 2-position climb switch as well, which means on those longer climbs, you can flick the switch and it will sit up into its travel a little bit nicer and become a bit firmer. Up front, it has 160mm Fox 38 Performance with a grip damper. It's really nice suspension. It's super stiff and it's designed especially for an e-bike. It is spec'd with Schwalbe's Magic Mary super gravity casings. They are super thick and there is absolutely no need for an insert in these tyres. They have performed flawlessly throughout the test. These wheels, which are Polygon's own entity rims with a 35 internal width, have been a great match with these tyres as well. On our size large, we have a 170mm Trans-X dropper. There's going to be a 170 on both the large and extra large frame sizes, and the small and medium frames will be spec'd with 150. All models have a 25mm Rise Entity bar, which is Polygon's own in-house brand, paired with a 35mm stem. So how does the Polygon Collosus N8E handle on the trails? We think that this model is one of the most balanced e-bikes that we've reviewed here at A&B. It descends quite well, it climbs quite well, it has amazing value for money. I think Polygon's done a really good job with their 6-bar IFS suspension system. The way that it maintains traction both climbing and descending sets this bike apart from many others, more than twice the price. Its sharp steering, relatively low bottom bracket, short rear center, and adequate reach make this a very well-rounded bike. I like the way it handles and sits into turns. It's very good on rough and rocky terrain and letting the brakes just run. Because the rear suspension remains so active under brakes, you find that you don't lose traction on this bike as much as some others. How does it go jumping? It goes pretty well. It's not as progressive as some linkages, and it doesn't seem to take really big successive hits as well as some other linkages, but I think for people who like to push hard and maintain a high speed, this suspension design works really well. Hope you've liked our review on Polygon's Collosus N8E. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in.